We are back with some Dead by Daylight creation reviews. I miss Maple Story. I might play that later on. It's been a while. Let's see. I was looking at this concept last that I didn't get through all the way, or some shit. Yeah, with the Kylies and all of that. And you know what? I don't think I'm gonna go back and look. I'm a scumbag. Anyway, let's hop on into Dark Magic. That's not a name that I recognize. Three killer perk ideas based on the injured state. 774 posts. Nice. Hex, bleed out. Whenever a survivor is injured, they become broken. I think that's supposed to be indefinitely, not infinitely. Indefinitely? What the fuck is that word? Indefinitely? It's supposed to be indefinitely. And the grunts in pain are 75% louder for as long as the hex is up. That is terrible because that is literally the plague. Always broken, always making noise, and your grunts and all that being louder, aka throwing up and shit, and staying in the broken state. You literally just said the plague's power. That's it. Obviously, no. First Blood. All survivors start the trial injured and gain the broken status effect for the next 60 seconds. After the broken status effect is up, all the survivors are healed up by a health state. Then what's the point? Though, what's the point? I mean, I guess this stacks nice with Lethal Pursuer, but you would have to literally run perks that you can literally down all four survivors without any of them healing up. It's not very savvy. You would have to be a killer that's fast. Nah, it wouldn't be worth it because you would have to run like corrupt intervention to try and push them closer to you. Lethal Pursuer. This perk. And that's three perk slots that after they run out are gone for the rest of the match. Then you would have to run a backup. So I guess you would have to drop corrupt intervention. You'd have to run a backup like NOAD or something like that. So you'd have NOAD, this perk, Lethal Pursuer. And I don't even know what your other perk would be. Did you get all your bonuses from the beginning? I mean, I guess you'd have to go for like a Devour of Hope. Or Devour Hope. That's it. It'd have to be Devour Hope. Because you would need some sort of push. Middle of the game. Now, the obvious thing that you get from this is one, you should definitely buff this to make this worthwhile. Because after this is gone, it's gone. Like Lethal Pursuer basically tells you where a survivor, well, all four survivors spawn at actually. And if you use that information properly and use like the unhook perk, Sadako's unhook perk, that shows the locations on Scourge hooks, in conjunction, you can constantly get ore reading. I guess you could use that as the fourth perk in that build, or instead of corrupt. But with this, one, all survivors starting the trial injured gain the broken status effect for 60 seconds isn't necessarily what I would do in conjunction with that. Because if survivors start the trial injured, it's going to take them 16. Well, that. If they have self care, it's going to take 32 seconds. If they're near another survivor, 16 seconds. If they're multiple survivors, you're looking at, 8 seconds or so, like that. The amount. Generally, either most survivors spawn by each other, or you might have a survivor spawn out on the end by themselves. If there's a boom totem or something like that, it would justify somebody putting up a boom totem at the beginning of the match. Things like that. But I definitely wouldn't apply the broken status effect and stop them from being able to heal. The whole point of that is if they bring a med kit or a perk that allows them to heal, they're using that item early. If they use that item early, you don't have to worry about that in the interim period. So this particular perk has its uses, but forcing them to have the broken status effect on top of that, it's just going to make survivors literally hide on the edge of the map the first minute of the match. And that's what I would do. At the beginning of the match, if he ran Lethal Pursuer and went after somebody, I would then hide somewhere. After you downed the first survivor or found the first survivor, that first survivor is going to run around dropping every fucking pallet available and taking up all of your time. But if you don't find anybody and you don't run Lethal Pursuer with it specifically, which both of these are two perks already ran together that you're not going to get any value at after the first minute of the game. One 10 seconds, the other at the first minute of the game. That's two perk slots gone that you will never get back. So it's like you can do better, essentially. If you, instead of breaking them for 60 seconds, you give them the injured status effect, give them the hemorrhage status effect for the remainder until they heal, and the mangled status effect until they heal. And give it a balanced amount of percentages. Run Thetanophobia or something else with it to increase the time that it takes for them to heal. Because if you get Thetanophobia, hemorrhage, and mangled onto that particular status effect and you keep them pressured, they will never essentially be able to heal, at least not very quickly. Then you can take Thetanophobia and Nurse's Calling for anybody specifically trying to heal when you're nearby. And you can have a build built around this particular perk. But breaking them for only 60 seconds and then rehealing them up after the 60 seconds makes this perk dog shit and useless. By the time you find a survivor, that survivor is going to run the absolute dog shit out of you, and the rest are going to jump on gens while you're chasing them. Even if you manage to hit that survivor and down them, and let's say it takes about 20 seconds because they want to save their pallets and all of that, and they don't have dead hard or anything. That's 20 seconds to down them, 10 seconds to hook them, and about 10 seconds to get to the next area where the other people are. If not longer. You're already 40 seconds in. After finding that survivor, you have less than 20 seconds to down that survivor, or they're going to get a health state. So if you're god tier at the game, or you have a ranged killer or something like that that can get quick downs, the maximum amount of hooks you're gonna get off of this perk is two hooks. That is abysmal. Giving up a perk slot and only giving two hooks. That's bad. It's so bad. It's like extremely bad. Ooh, I need to grab water or something. My dang side feels like it's gonna explode. Something ain't right. Ooh. Anyway, so first blood can be changed, essentially, to make it actually worthwhile and make it usable with like nurses calling thatanophobia, things like that, to completely slow down survivors' healing while also showing you their ores if they are healing. So, I mean, this would be fine for a nurse build if it was made to actually help that. But definitely the broken status effect, having that and then healing them back up, just ain't a good idea at all. Whew. I feel like, oh man, my bones and then like my kidneys are like aching right now. It's not even cold. I mean, I did just eat a salad, but Jesus Christ. Oh, deafening scream. For every injured survivor, gain a token. Each token decreases your terror radius by 6 meters. If 4 tokens are obtained, the killer gains the undetectable status effect. Token is lost when a survivor is healthy or in the dying state. Ooh. Put your well-being first, particularly at work, Google. You listening to me, Google? Ooh. So for every injured survivor in the game, it doesn't matter how they're injured, you get a token. At 4 tokens, you get the undetectable status effect. So as long as you keep the full lobby injured, you're completely fine. So in essence, if you wear this particular perk and the other perk, First Blood, you're gonna have 60 seconds of the undetectable status effect until the survivors get that insta heal. Um, I guess that's good for like Legion or something like that. If you can manage to keep survivors injured and keep chaining properly. But for the majority of killers, it's not really relevant to it or to them. I mean, again, if you give Nemesis the undetectable status effect, you can hear him boom, 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 boom. If you give somebody with a chainsaw the undetectable status effect, there's still rev up time, things like that. If you give Wraith the undetectable status effect, I mean, it don't do much because he gets his speed once he comes out of invisibility. Ghostface already has it. Doctor has basically a radar type thing. Pig can crouch. Huntress, when she charges up Hatchet, she goes, huh? Which lets you know that it's coming. But I mean, I guess if you're using a standardized killer and you go mouse warning people instead of using your power, the undetectable status effect would be good for the 60 seconds. But beyond that, it's not really that helpful. Oh my god, I feel like my fucking kidneys or some shit's exploding right now. I may or may not be back. Give me a couple of moments. Yo, I made a homemade salad with some like light ranch dressing, some lettuce, and ham and shit from the deli. And now, I don't know, it just feels like somebody is just constantly punching me in the stomach, or in my torso, I should say. Fucking chest is hurting, fucking back is hurting, spine is hurting, kidneys are hurting. Jesus Christ. So, on that, I think I am going to be done. I may or may not be back. I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know. I know there is Rocket League content and all of that coming out, so gotta cover that shit. But until then, I am going to take it easy. Um, Ooh. I'll apologize anybody looking forward to this. I already used my one notification, so I probably shouldn't have done this anyway. But anyway, I will maybe be back or not. I'm not entirely sure. But until then, peace.